Hello everyone, it's Rachel from Great Minds Ink Alike. Today I want to show you my side panel column card. You may have seen this called side panel pillar card also. The column or the pillar is this part here. I've made column cards before, but what steps this one up is this side panel. You do a little flap underneath here and pull it across the top and attach it to the pillar, and as it closes down it'll fit in your standard envelope, and it's just another little wow feature of a pretty simple little card. So to start with, we need an 8 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock. Now think of half a piece of cardstock, but instead of 8 1/2, you need to trim off 1/4. And I've already scored at 1, 2 inch, 3 inches, and 4 inches. You'll also need a piece of DSP that is 5 1/2 by 5 1/4. So be careful, it is not a perfect square 5 1/2 going long ways. And then you are going to cut strips. You want to do your cutting from this side, and you're going to cut so that they are 3/4 of an inch, and you'll cut 3 of them. So 3/4 of an inch, another 3/4. You are doing this, I am doing this on a piece of pattern paper that has a continuous design. So I want to keep them in order. Otherwise, it's, if you do a stripe, a polka dot, something that doesn't have a pattern, you can just cut 3 strips and don't have to start with a big piece. But now I've got my 3 pieces that are 3/4 of an inch and the remaining piece for the back side. You'll also need a piece of cardstock that is 3/4 by 2 1/4, 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 for the DSP. I'm using the Cute as a Bug Sweet collection, and this DSP has the sheet with the little panels, and so on my first card I used the panel section that was a 3x4 and I trimmed it down. For this one I'm using the piece of DSP that is this gingham check. It's a little bit bigger check, but I don't think it makes any difference in the card. You'll need a scrap of Very Vanilla. I'm using Very Vanilla. Oh, there's a little, okay. And we'll stamp the bugs and we'll do some coloring. I just grabbed some markers that were listed on the back of the pack of DSP to help me decide what color to color my ants. And turns out those are exactly the same colors that are in the DSP. There is a sheet of DSP that has these very ants, so you could die cut them and not have to stamp them yourself. So I'm using Dark Daffodil Delight, Light Cajun Craze, Dark Cajun Craze, Light Mossy Meadow, and Dark Poppy Parade. Now we'll need to do our die cutting and get these little guys cut out. You could have stamped them directly on the card. I just like the idea of them being a little more three-dimensional. It's nice that the stamp is one solid piece and the die cut is the same, but it cuts 3 separate ants. But before we get the ants on, I want to put a little something here to ground them. Now, for my liking, I want to be sure my grass is down below the edge of the cardstock. So here's where the Mossy Meadow comes in. I didn't put that on the ant. I'll use Mossy Meadow and I'll use the Poppy Parade again to color my flowers. I'm going to arrange my ants so that I've got one up high and one down low, so they look like they're kind of, I guess they're not marching in order. There we go. And then I'll put my greeting on. I think maybe I'll go ahead and do the greeting before I glue the ants down. I'm using Old Olive ink. That way, if things go south with my stamping here, I can still flip it over and I don't have to make new ants. But that also helps me get my placement with my Hello Friend. This is coming from the Sweet Bugs bundle. Just a cute bundle, just kind of a fun one to play around with. All right, let's get these guys on here. I'll go ahead and glue them all up while I've got my glue flowing. It's a little bit more than I want, so I'll spread it down to that part of the ant. Okay. I think I'll start with my middle one and work around him. The ants go marching. There's another stamp that in this bundle that says something about spreading joy, and I thought about using that one too, because I thought little marching ants, this little dancing guy, certainly spreads some joy. All right, we'll put this together and we're ready to assemble. Let's start with the base of the card. I've got my DSP and I kept them in order so I can keep my patterns lined up. So it'll be one continuous pattern. Oh, I did not keep them in order. Oh, I have it upside down, I think. There we go. So it's one continuous pattern going across. That's kind of a minor thing. A lot of people won't even notice, but we stampers pay attention to that. So let me fold all of my score lines. And I will use a bone folder on this. And then I'm going to attach this piece of DSP first. Then I'll wrap that around and stick it down. Now I'm just using my seal for the DSP. I do have some tear and tape for part of this column card. I have had no problems using seal on the initial close up of the column, but when you put the side panel on, you definitely need tear and tape. So while I'm doing the tear and tape, I think I'll go ahead and do tear and tape for the whole thing. So now fold this around. This piece will get glued down, so you need to think about where all of your skinny little 3/4 inch pieces go. So I need one here, one here, one here, and this will be glued down. I forgot to show you the front panel piece when we started. This is 4.5 by 4, and you'll score it at 3 and at 4 inches. It's kind of an important part of the side panel card. So let's get this ready to attach, and we'll get out our tear and tape. Okay, so the panel, the side panel is going to go off this direction, so I'll attach my Hello Friend to the front. Just make sure your tab is on the right side. I made the little trumpet go off the edge of the DSP, which works out fine because it attaches to a bigger piece, and then that will actually attach to this. So let's do some tear and tape. That was probably more tear and tape than we needed, but that's okay. This thing is not coming apart. Now, before I just wrap it around, I want this sticking down here, but I want to be sure this card will fold flat. So I am making sure every component lays where it needs to before I stick down that tear and tape. Okay, and then this will be our column. All right, same thing for our flap. We want to attach here to the front of the column, and we want to attach to the base of the card. Well, you definitely use tear and tape for that. All right, again, we want everything to lay flat. So when we put this down, this all has to fold down flat. So I'm going to fold the back side flat. I am going to line it up with the edge of my card. And I'm going to stick that down, just so I have one component down. And then I'm going to focus on sticking down the other side of the flap. You might just do one tear and tape at a time. I got a little carried away there. All right, so now we have, oops, it's not sticking. Nope. Guess I didn't push down in the right place. There we go. So now we have a Hello Friend. And I did not put a white panel on the back yet, or actually a very vanilla panel on the back, but I will, and that'll be where I can put my little greeting to my recipient. Hope you had fun watching this, and we'll try a side panel column card sometime yourself. Thanks for watching, everybody.